house always wins. Play long enough, you never change the stakes. The house takes you. Unless, when that perfect hand comes along, you bet big, and then you take the house. I've been practicing this good. A little bit. Did I rush it? Felt like I rushed.
That was good. I liked it.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Big Easy Bets podcast. I'm your host, Logan. With me in the studio, Nick Bombrick.
Hello.
With us on the ones and twos, Justen the Russian Concussion Mascaro.
What's going on?
This is episode 198. We're on the college football week 6, NFL week 5. We're going to recap a profitable week all around for pretty much everybody on the show, and then we're going to dive into our best bets after that. Couple things to touch on before we dive into that. Hit the subscribe button, like and subscribe wherever you're watching or listening. It helps us out big time. We appreciate it. The Big Easy Bets podcast is still brought to you by BetStamp. If you're looking for a place to place your bets, head on over to signupexpert.com/BigEasyBets. The link is in the description. It's very easy to find. Brings you straight to the different sports books to sign up for. Use the promo codes to your advantage. They're giving away a free startup bankroll, essentially. And we've talked about it many a times on this podcast. There's a way you can use it to your advantage to almost guarantee yourself a profit. Emphasis on almost. Couple things to dive into. The Saints lose another should-have-been win again. We sit at 2-2. We touched on last 2 weeks we've done our NFL instant reaction on Sunday nights after the games are completed. So we dove into it a little bit, but the Saints are losing games that they should be winning.
Yeah, they lost 2 similar games on the final possession of the game, you know?
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen Young Wei Koo miss a kick. We talked about it on that breakdown, but we looked at it. He's missed, but I don't know that he's ever missed against us, other than you said we blocked one.
Yeah.
But it was
2 years ago.
From like 80 yards away.
It was I thought 58 was too far for him.
Yeah.
But apparently not.
Yeah, no, what's crazy is I remember back when it was like they made it from 50. Like, that doesn't feel like that long ago.
Yeah.
Where it was like 50 yards. Now it's like anybody can kick 60 yards of distance. It's just, do they have the aim? Just about anybody. They were looking at, I don't know if it was the Dolphins game or if it was the Lions game last night, but one of them, it might have been the Dolphins. All I know is he kicked a long one. They're like, this is right on the outside of his ring. He would have been good from 75. He had plenty of distance. So everybody's kicking it further. It seems like nobody can miss except Justin Tucker these days. The former best kicker to ever play is now washed up, but that's a story for another day. LSU gets a big win.
Yeah.
If we want to call it big. Big for you. Big for you. And they covered first time of the season.
Yep.
I'm glad. I said I wasn't going to hop on it. I'm glad I hopped on it. So I didn't want to be sitting out in the dark watching them cover the first spread of the year. But how I don't know. How are you feeling overall on the outlook of the Saints going forward?
Not bad. I still think we're better than I thought we were going to be.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, but I would like for we could be sitting at 4 now.
Yeah, no, that's the only bad thing. It's like when it comes down to the end of the year and we're looking at the playoff picture and we're close to winning the division or we're close for a wild card spot, we're going to be looking back at these 2 games as games that we should have won.
And it always happens. I remember a couple years back when we still had Breeze, we were in the mix. Like, look, year after year, we were Super Bowl contenders towards that tail end of his career. I remember it was the game against the Chiefs. I think it was when Anzalone didn't fall there was a blocked punt, I think.
Yeah, I kind of remember.
Or no. The guy, he returned it. He returned it when he shouldn't have returned it. It was like right before halftime, and he took it out, and he shouldn't have. We ended up forcing a fumble, and he went to go run and dive on and didn't get it and allowed them to get it, essentially. But regardless, that was one where, like, we should have got, but it came back to bite us. I think we would have had the number 1 seed that year in the NFC.
Yeah.
So it's early, and you think these games don't really matter, but in the end they do. And they play – every game is equally as important, no matter start or end of the year. So you can't keep giving these games away. I would argue that there was some coaching decisions in each one that could have possibly been the difference. But Rashid Shaheed, what are you fucking doing? Fielding a punt inside the 3-yard line, an all-pro returner. Not only trying to field it, muffing it, and then, I don't know, it was a disaster. We gave them their only 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, and it's a game where the defense didn't allow the offense to score any touchdowns. So
yeah, and I've seen it's very split right down the middle. A lot of people think that it's on the defense, that loss, and then if you don't give up an offensive touchdown, it's not on you. Mm-hmm. It's on us. It's on the offense, in my opinion. I get it. It comes down to that one final drive, but we've seen it so many times, time and time again, where the defense plays incredible. All game, we don't help them out, and then they break at the end. You saw it with Saquon. You saw or the Dallas Goedert against the Eagles, but I'm talking for years and years and years. It's been the same old song and dance where the defense plays great, and then when it matters most, something happens. PI, just a back-breaking run, something like that. So I agree. We're still ahead of schedule. We're better than I thought we would be. You're sitting at 2-2. You got a big game on Monday night coming up against a banged-up Chiefs team. So we'll see what we do there. But you got to win the ones you're supposed to win. So, okay, I got, like I said, a few things to touch on before we dive into the recap. Let's talk the Sluka situation with UNLV, because that news broke literally the night we recorded. The episode was out about 6 hours later. That news broke. What's the first name? Matthew?
Yep.
Matthew Sluka was the quarterback at UNLV. There was a dispute over NIL. We're in a new era of college football. They're no longer athletes. They're paid. I mean, they're no longer students. They're paid to play athletes. He allegedly was promised $100,000 to come and play for UNLV, but it wasn't in writing, apparently. What are your thoughts on the whole situation, taking out the fact that they're possibly better without him? Just the overall NIL situation as a whole with him.
Yeah, I don't know. It's strange because, I mean, there's agreements they sign, right? NIL agreements between the player and the NIL collective. And he apparently signed one that was an agreement for, I think, $3,000 a month or something like that.
No, it was just a travel stipend. It was just money for him to move from wherever he was, wherever the hell Holy Cross is, for him to move to UNLV. So they paid for his travel. But it wasn't, I don't think it was, as far as I saw, it was not, or no, you're right. It was a monthly $3,000, and then there was the stipend on top of that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay, you're right.
Yeah, so I don't know where the who they said an assistant coach promised him $100,000 or something during his recruitment, or
yeah, how are you not getting that in writing? I can.
If it's that much money, why not?
Yeah,
somebody's got to tell him, hey, you need to get that in writing.
And a lot of people, I see a lot of people like, that's not that much money. It's like, yeah, it's not that much money if you're Nico Iamaleava from Tennessee getting $10 million when you're not even in, like, coming before you're even going there. But $100,000 is not a small amount of money. You hand me $100,000 right now, I'd probably cry. So
yeah,
let's not pretend that Matthew Sluka is not going to be pissed about not getting $100,000. That is, you can do a lot with that. So, and it's just the principle of it. If he was promised this, both sides are wrong. Both sides are dumb. Maybe UNLV's actually quietly a genius, because maybe they're like, this guy is not that good. This other guy's good. You could have just benched him. But maybe they knew this was going to come out. I have no idea. But if you promised him something, you should pay up, and then you're dumb for not getting it in writing. Just hey, we'll give it to you.
I don't even know if the agreement he wanted was legal. I don't think that a coach is allowed to. I'm pretty sure that's the story, is that it was an assistant coach.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of unknown, I guess.
Because the only thing that they can accept money for is through the NIL collectives that are set up by.
Yeah. It's just it's supposed to be for them to, like, get advertisement dollar.
Yeah.
But what it's turned into is, like, big money backers, booster club members paying for the players to come, and they window dress it by, like, oh, go do a fucking Raising Cane's commercial. Mm-hmm. But in reality, it's coming from, like, just big money donors. It's not like, go do this commercial with Rouse's. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
or at least in some instances it's not. It's now there's so much gray area to the rule, and in reality there's really not many rules at all. So I'm sure there are just like, yeah, you're doing local endorsement deals, and then there's others where it's like, yeah, you're getting just paid by, like Dave Portnoy for Barstool said that he's going to just buy Michigan's quarterback, whoever they want. It makes sense. He could do it. They could just be sponsored by Barstool. So I don't know why more people aren't doing that. He was like $1 to $3 million, and he's like, but he wants a say. He wants to, which is such a problem. That's such a problem. I don't know. I thought it was very interesting. It's the first of many situations like this that we're going to see, in my opinion. There's rumors going around, and I'm speculating, but there's talk going around that there's big-time programs where you see a lot of players that are hurt but not really hurt. And so I texted you, and I was asking, is Chris Hilton one of those?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll find out next week.
Because how many times is this?
Because if he doesn't play next week, I think you start to question, well,
do you want to play?
What's going on here?
Yeah. All that was said was that there are big-time programs with top-tier players, talent, that are injured but not really injured. So naturally, we're LSU fans. I was like, okay, well, we have one of those guys that fit the description. So I wonder if he was promised some money and they're not paying up on it, and who knows? It's like I said, we live in a very different college football landscape than what we've been accustomed to. But it is what it is. When's the last time you went to the doctor?
Shit. I don't know, like a real doctor's appointment. It's been a while.
What about you, Justin?
I was just talking about that with Shannon the other day. I was like, man, I haven't gotten like blood work done in 6 years, and he actually went and got it done.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Are his numbers good?
Yeah, he told me healthy as an ox.
Yeah, I texted you. So I went to the doctor the other day just to get set up with. I hadn't been to the doctor. So the last doctor I had was a pediatrician. So, and I mean, I'm talking like 10.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had blood work done other than like as a child. As far as I can remember, I've never had blood work done. So, and I was supposed to get it the other day. It was late, so I'm getting it done this week. But he took my blood pressure, and so my blood pressure is slightly elevated. So, basically, like health-wise, there's changes that can be made, like diet and all of that, which I've been telling myself for fucking ever that'll happen. We'll see. I was like, Doc, have a fucking kid, then get back to me. But he was like, are you like stressful situations and things like that? I'm like, dude, I didn't even tell him about the gambling, but I was sitting there and like I was talking with Lindsay, and she was like, yeah, well, like if there's a situation that like makes you nervous, I guess like your heart rate gets a little elevated and you can feel it. And so they're like, yeah, like those are the type of situations, if you're putting yourself in those consistently, you'll have a little elevated blood pressure. I'm like, well, I'm going to have to die young then. Like, I'm not fucking leaving. Like Jordan Belfort, like, because she was like, well, she didn't say stop gambling or anything, but it seems to be a cause. I can't help it. Like, what do you do?
What was your blood pressure?
I don't even remember what it was, but it was like they have the like, what the fucking word am I looking for? They have the different levels. Yeah, the chart with the different levels. Mine was like just barely outside of the good. So I don't remember what it even was.
I always say people's in the doctor's office is more elevated because they're nervous about going to the doctor.
Yeah, and that's probably what it was a little bit. Like I haven't been to the doctor in forever. I don't love needles or anything, so blood work was like about to happen. Not that I was like fucking freaking out or anything, but I'm sure it was elevated a little bit. But it felt similar to when I have a bet coming down to the wire or just any money on the line.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck. I was like, that's not good. So, but I don't know what you're supposed to do. What do you do?
You got to get healthy enough to be able to bet.
Yeah, but it's not so much diet though. I'm not saying diet doesn't matter, but if you get in good shape and then you're still like getting fucking worked up, your blood pressure's still rising.
Yeah, but I mean, look, everybody's blood pressure rises here and there.
Yeah, mine is what, 1, 2, 3, 4 days out of the week. all day. All day Saturday, all day Sunday. In large part, the majority of the day Friday, Thursday night, Monday.
Yeah.
So,
guess you can always go on medication.
yeah, I don't know. We'll address it when it gets dangerously high, but I'm not there yet. Update on the Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman. Khalil Shakir sits at 230 yards. Keon Coleman sits at 126 yards. He got you some garbage time yards there down the stretch.
Oh, yeah?
What do you mean? Yeah.
They were trying to win that damn game.
They were down 18 points. It was like late in the fourth quarter. He got 2 out of his 3 catches. It accounted for 60% of his yards. So, but whatever. Yards are yards. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying. Like when the game was.
I hear Cole Shakir's availability's in question with his ankle.
No, I don't think so.
That's what I'm hearing.
Might be questionable. What do you mean? Keon
Just
Coleman's
saying.
his availability's in question with his hands. So he stinks. He tried to high point the ball and then he tried to go over the shoulder on one catch. Not good.
Yeah, he just dropped one.
Yeah, the deep ball.
Yeah, not good.
He went up to high point it and then changed his mind midway and then tried to go over and dropped it. So we are on to the MLB postseason. For those that were listening months and months and months ago, I bet the Atlanta Braves to win the World Series plus 550, and then it immediately went to shit. Acuna got hurt, Strider got hurt, everybody got hurt. Fast forward months and months later, and I am fucking hoping this is money that I don't want to lose right now because I was like, you know what? I always look for the long shot. I was like, I'm going to bet one of the favorites. I'm going to bet a lot on it. Bad move. I had myself in a situation yesterday where the Mets and the Braves had to play a doubleheader. The only way either one of them didn't get into the postseason if they lost both games. So the Braves were up and then they were up 3, then they were down 1, or down multiple actually. They gave up 6 runs in the 8th inning, and then they rallied back in the bottom of the 8th, take the lead, and then in the 9th, they fucking give up the lead again and lose the game. So it came down to where I had a plus 400 on a Mets money line. So I bet enough that I could get out of my bet. And the fucking Braves won. So they're in the postseason. And they're going to lose. And I don't know. They play the Padres tonight. But so if anybody gives a shit about baseball, we're on Braves watch. Charlie Blackmon retired. That's why I'm wearing the jersey for the Rockies. Did y'all see the NFL taunting penalties over the weekend? They hit Alan Lazard with he did the finger guns, and then the fucking ref like tattletaled on him. It was funny. Like he ran over to the head ref and like reenacted it. And he was like, he was doing this. He literally went 1, 2, 3, and they threw a flag. Like right after he caught it, like you could almost think he was doing that. They threw a flag on it. And then somebody else scored a touchdown I saw, and they did the bow and arrow, like not even at anybody, like up to the sky, and they threw another flag. So what are we doing? Why are we still having this issue? You want to throw penalties on celebrations in college football? That's fine. Be my guest. But in the pros where they're paid a shitload of money, why are we trying to make it not fun? Why are we trying to what's the point? What's the point?
Doesn't Brandon Cooks do that?
He used to.
He used to do it, and then they made it illegal.
Yes, and it was like a biblical thing, he said.
But he did it recently, and he didn't get a penalty. I thought they said he can't do that anymore.
Yeah, he used to do it with us.
But he did it after he scored a touchdown against somebody.
What is the logic behind like finger guns? What are we doing?
I don't know.
Who was it? It was Raheem Morris tried to say that Drake London when he scored, and he did the whole fucking. He's like, I wouldn't put him past him to be shooting a t-shirt cannon into the crowd because that's the kind of guy he is. I was like, what the fuck? He was killing everybody. He was Scarface. He was fucking Scarface killing everybody. Raheem. That's completely different than doing the finger guns. But I don't even care about that. Let them do whatever the fuck they want. I don't care.
Yeah, let them dunk it in the.
Maybe don't let them Nazi salute. We could throw that one out. Let them, I understand the dunking on the goalpost. That's because Jimmy Graham bent the goalpost. I don't understand why we're still having this discussion and we're trying to just make the league not as exciting. You want to see the celebrations. Justin Jefferson can gritty and you put it in Madden and you do all that. let them do whatever the fuck they want. I don't know. I thought it was crazy because it was such mild celebrations too. To then have like, don't make it about the referees, dude. It drives me nuts. Pete Rose died.
Yeah.
You think they let him into the Hall of Fame now?
No.
No? Oh, they're definitely going to let him in.
I don't think so.
1,000% they're going to let him in because then now they're going to be able to be like, we did the right thing because everybody's been saying, I'll be shocked if they don't let him in. And it's also going to be a way for them to try to get people to give a fuck about their enshrinement ceremony or whatever. Pete Rose was banned for baseball because he was betting on the games that his teams took part in. But allegedly, he never bet against his team. He only bet on his team to win. What's the problem?
I don't know.
What is he banned for? Trying to get his team to win games?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. He's going to get in. But
I don't know if they let him in. They fucking are sticklers for the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but
if you have a smidgen of mud on you, they're not even going to consider you. And then to bet on the games and get caught and admit it.
But he also it was when he was a manager. It wasn't when he was a player. So the player, I guess, technically didn't do anything wrong. I don't know. I think they'll let him in. Maybe they don't, but I think it's just a perfect way for them to be like, all right, now we can do it. Like, everybody's been hammering them to do it. Now they can do it without having to, like, have him say anything or whatever. So, I don't know. What else? Oh, Mike McDaniel. What are your thoughts on Mike McDaniel, head coach of the Dolphins?
I don't know. That guy's a quack. He's lost.
I think Mike McDaniel is a fraud. Fraud with a capital F. What we saw, and I'll preface, this is coming for somebody that had money on the Dolphins. Mike McDaniel is a moron. Mike McDaniel is one of those, thinks he's smarter than he is. He clearly started reading his own press clippings and showed up to this season with the new haircut and the gold rim glasses, and he wears the capri pants, and he thinks he's like this offensive guru. I've never in my life seen somebody make 4th and 1 more difficult. Time after time. Call it 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. Doesn't matter. Short yardage. And instead of just running it up the fucking gut, he's got to do 2 different misdirection, end arounds, all this window dressing bullshit, and then they get tackled for a loss of 3 on repeat, time and time again. Mike McDaniel is Brandon Staley for the Chargers. We've tried to – the problem is you take the Shanahan tree, and anybody who had a cup of coffee with Sean McVay and these certain offensive-minded guys, and we think that any of them that were ever in the same room are just able to draw up offense, and you're just not. Mike McDaniel's not a good head coach. The team's undisciplined. They're getting procedure penalties. They're not good. Tua is not that good of a quarterback. He's not. When he's in, he's turning the ball over left and right. But for the drop-off from Tua to whoever the hell else is that you can find off the street, for it to be that bad, you're telling me you couldn't draw up a single drive? You couldn't, when your team needed it most. We saw Sean Payton time and time again. Drew Brees got hurt, broke the ribs, collapsed lung. Taysom Hill, Teddy Bridgewater, Trevor Siemian, Jameis Winston. Take your fucking pick. The backups come in and they win when they need to in small sample size when you have a good coach. When you lose Tua and the Dolphins have no shot to win a game ever. Mike McDaniel is a fraud. He's a snake oil salesman. This is what you get when you just start thinking that anybody that had contact with McVay or Shanahan can coach offense, because not all of them can. And the problem is when you look at the disciples of those coaching trees, look at Kubiak with us. It's predicated on running the football. They don't want to. Maybe it's not all his fault. Maybe it's the GM's fault because the offensive line is time and time again trash. But they can't run the football. Everything's bad from top to bottom.
Yeah, without Tua, they suck. It makes Tua look like a magician.
Yeah, and he's not that good.
And, yeah, like the quarterbacks they have behind him. Skylar Thompson should not be a backup quarterback in the NFL.
No, he should not.
And then you
Where'd
bring
he go?
in
Kentucky? He went to Kentucky, I think. He wasn't that good.
No, Skylar Thompson was Kansas State.
Was it? Oh, yeah, okay.
And then Huntley, I mean, you don't simplify it at all. You know he's barely been on the team. It's like,
why is he not running more?
I couldn't believe they didn't simplify it a little bit more.
The worst thing that happened for us that game was Will Levis got hurt.
Yeah.
When Rudolph came in, I was like, fuck. I'm not even kidding. And don't get me wrong, Dolphins couldn't score. So
yeah, Rudolph sucks too, though.
Yeah, but he was putting him in position for field goals at least. There was like 3 drives in a row. They got at least 3 points. And it was hilarious. Will Levis is sitting over there fucking with his helmet on. It's like, buddy, you're done forever. Take your helmet off. Go give it to somebody that's going to use it. Sitting there like hyping him up. And it's like, you're fucking out of here, pal.
Yeah, the problem with the Dolphins is that their rushing attack is highly dependent on the weapons they have on the outside and the threat of them stretching the defense. And when there's no quarterback back there that can provide threat downfield with its throwing, that it gets condensed and there's no space to run the ball. There's no space to get Tyreek Hill and Jaden Waddle the ball on the outside and create plays.
Yeah, and I knew it was a ticking time bomb with Tyreek Hill because on the sidelines he was getting fed up, and I knew that shit was coming where he was starting to get pissed and just cause problems. Like, it's like, buddy, what'd you expect? Look at who y'all are fucking putting out there under center. Are you surprised that the offense sucks? I don't know. He was not. There's just a clip or the shot of McDaniel like looking off into nowhere, hoping he would just like fucking evaporate, and Tyreek Hill's just screaming behind him. Basically,
yeah,
saying,
he should have caught that one. The
fumble.
It wasn't the best throw. It was one downfield.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the swing.
And he
pass.
had to adjust a little bit to the outside, and it hit him in the hands. Like, bro, I get it. He's not like the known for his ball skills or anything like that, but still, an NFL receiver's got to be able to make that catch. And he's like point and throw it downfield, and then the next time
he launches that bitch,
launched it as far as he could.
You know, Huntley was mumbling to himself like, "You slow motherfucker, fucking told me to launch it." No, it was a disaster from top to bottom. So, what else? What else is going on before we dive into last week's recap? Anything?
Gonzaga just joined the Pac-12 for basketball.
Did they?
They were talking about that, and then I thought I heard of something come out saying they weren't considering that.
Gonzaga,
but it's official now?
Yeah, on the way here, right whenever I was pulling in the neighborhood.
That's interesting because I kind of don't like that at all because I always loved the matchups with St. Mary's. And then you had a couple teams that were like not good, but could give them a shot. There was San Francisco was scrappy. Pepperdine was in there, I think. They had a couple different teams. So they're going to the Pac-12. Did all the Pac-12 schools that bolted for the Big Ten, did the basketball go as well?
I don't know.
No shot.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm not even sure. I don't know.
I have no idea.
That was, see, we're approaching that like time period where I get conflicted because I love college basketball. But typically what I try to do is right around feast week, I'll do a couple plays and then I go back dormant and it's just strictly football. And then once we hit the new year, with once bowl season's over is when I turn my attention to college basketball. And I fucking got them last year. That's what I was saying. I think I'm a better college basketball better than anything else. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be exciting with what's his name going to Duke.
Oh,
Cooper Flag. Yeah, it's going to be. You got Calipari going to Arkansas. It's going to be exciting. Alrighty, let's dive into the recap. It was a profitable week all around. I'm going to just get out in front of it right now. I cannot pick a lock in college football. Can't do it. So I wrote skull and crossbones. It's over with. I'm not giving you a lock anymore because I can't give you one. I have the yips. I have whatever you want to call it. I'm looking at plays that I like. I'm making my lock. I scratch it out. I go down to a different one, and then it fucking loses. So after UCF, I just cannot do it. So we'll start with that for the recap. UCF minus 14.5. I even said it was through a key number. It went up to like 15.5 at one point, and then right before kick, it got brought back down. I don't know what happened. I don't know how Colorado all of a sudden can run the ball and stop the run. This is the best look. That was the best I've ever seen Colorado look since Deion's been the coach in 2 years. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, they kind of won in the trenches.
No, they did. And this is the first time.
That was like what you weren't expecting.
This is the first time that Deion's been a coach for Colorado that they've looked like a legitimate football team. Whereas before it was like kind of gimmicky. They had to find a team that really could not do anything in the trenches. As soon as they met up with the team that was a legitimate offensive and defensive line in college football, they would blow them away, and Shedeur was running for his life. That was what we were supposed to see with UCF. I said coming in, I was worried that they're not really generating a ton of pressure. They only had 1 sack coming in. But on the other side, they were the clear-cut best rushing team in college football, and statistically. And they did not show it at all. Tip your cap to Colorado. That's what you got to do. Tip your cap and move on. They bottled everybody up with the run. Shedeur threw a pick first drive, and then UCF was in a perfect position to go down and score. KJ Jefferson gave it right back to him. But it was a dominant performance from Colorado. Never had a shot of even remotely coming close to covering. A terrible pick again. So I'm out. My locks are done. We did start the day well, though. I started 3-1. I should have been 4-0. We had UConn -5 was the easiest bet I've had this season. They absolutely dominated from start to finish. Kansas State -4.5. Same thing. It was a close for a second, and then they started pulling away and kind of asserting their will. LSU, no, sorry, that was not. What was the other one? Nebraska -9.5. It was a little close there for a second, and then same thing. Towards the end, they pulled away. Raiola did enough. So it wasn't exactly a mind-boggling performance from Raiola. 17 of 27, 257 yards and a touchdown. But they win 28-10. Third down efficiency was not good. They did have a lot of yards, though. 418 yards to 224 for Purdue. 161 on the ground. Purdue's offense is just that team as a whole is really struggling. But it took 21 points in the fourth quarter from Nebraska. So they turned it on late and covered the number, luckily. Michigan and Minnesota, this one. So we started out 3-1, and it did not feel like it. I was really upset that Michigan blew this lead. They were up big, took their foot off the gas. At halftime, they were up 21-3. At one point, it was 24-3 was what we saw, the biggest the lead got. They allowed Minnesota to score 24 points in the fourth quarter. They decided to test out the waters and see if Alex Orji can throw the football. I don't know why. He can't. He stinks. It was extremely frustrating that they let this game milk away. And they nearly lost it. So we go 3-1 to start. Then we had the Notre Dame and Louisville under 46.5. And I said it too. I was like, it's every fucking time I bet a Notre Dame under, some horse shit happens. Some crazy shit happens. They're great on defense. Opening kickoff, they fumble inside the red zone. Louisville scores. Notre Dame comes out, marches down and scores. And then Louisville fumbles inside the 10-yard line. Score. Then Louisville's going to punt, and they snap it over the head inside the 10-yard line. Score. You had 21 points given right off the bat, and that was the difference in this hitting or not. So, to be quite honest, I felt like Louisville's defense was good and would be able to hold their own, and they did. They gave up one drive, really. But other than that, it was a lot of very short field, just unfortunate situations. They were making life difficult for Notre Dame, though, and then same thing on the flip side. Notre Dame's defense did well. Tyler Shuck made a couple passes, though, that were like one in particular was arguably the most impressive pass I've ever seen. Rolling out to his left, taking a shot, sidearm throw in between two defenders. The camera shot made it all the more better, but it was an impressive, about as impressive as the throw could get. Utah -11 was horrific. And I was talking with you about it. I'm taking these unnecessary chances, and I know it. I say it before I'm on the fence. I'm like, I shouldn't do it, and then I do it. Cam Rising is fucking dead to me. Dead to me. I hate Cam Rising so much. I'm tired of this bullshit. I was hearing people say that the players don't even know what's going on with him. They don't know, like, set in stone, like, oh, he's coming back in 2 weeks, and then they just hide it from the media. Mm-hmm. They're saying they're keeping that shit from the players, too. If you're the running back, how are you... or the receivers, you got to be like, what the fuck is going on? Are you playing or not?
Yeah.
Because we have a much better chance to win if you're on the field. Zach Wilson's brother is a shitbag. He sucks. You tried to give him the fucking benefit of the doubt. First test road get. He fucking sucks bad. Bad. And Zach Wilson went to BYU. His brother went to the rival. Mm-hmm. The Holy War. I was mad as could fucking be because I just kicking myself. It was a stupid play. I knew it was a stupid play. I rolled the dice with Cam Rising, but it wouldn't even matter because Utah's defense played uninspired. The fans were leaving the game well before it was over. They couldn't stop the run. It was tough. Alabama plus 2.5. Let's talk about it because it was a fucking exciting game. Justen, what are your thoughts on this one? We were on opposite sides, so I want to see what your perspective was.
Yeah, I mean, I had the over as well, so I was still happy, but Ryan Williams is electric.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
Yeah, he is incredible, to be quite honest. This was one, Bama blitzed them right off the bat, jumped out to a huge lead. I was feeling good, needless to say. And then after that, though, after that first quarter, I mean, Georgia quickly began to assert their will, and Alabama was up 21-0 after the first quarter. You then saw they scored 20 points for the remainder of the game. 19 fourth quarter points from Georgia obviously got them back in the game and gave them the lead. What are your thoughts? What are your takeaways?
Yeah, this game kind of felt like I kept telling people don't count Georgia out just yet. It kind of felt like the Falcons-Patriots Super Bowl game where it's like it just took too long for Georgia to get back into the game, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Which it was kind of like that for the Patriots, but Patriots ended up winning, but Georgia ended up taking the lead. I didn't really think that was going to happen. I thought they would make it a one-score game towards the end, but I don't know. I think Milroe's pretty damn good. Okay. Carson Beck, you've had your doubts about him. I think those kind of showed there in this game. Yeah,
so if they play tomorrow, same, Bama's at home, Georgia minus 2.5. Which side are you taking?
Alabama again.
I think so too. I think when the game was at its toughest, everything was at its height, Carson Beck did not look good. Not look good at all. Some of those, and he almost threw 2 more.
Yeah.
He tried to throw 2 more interceptions. It quickly was like, we're just so used to Georgia being far superior to everybody else that they play that you just expect, like, okay, threw a pick. All right, like Stetson Bennett would throw the pick and then they'll come back and they'll put a score and drive together, which is funny to say with Stetson Bennett. But it got to the point where I was not really worried, like Carson Beck's going to get him back in this game. To his credit, he did, I guess, but when I feel like Alabama was a mix of them taking their foot off the gas a little bit, but also that defense ain't that fucking good. We talked about they've got holes in their secondary, for sure. But the busted coverage to Dylan Bell, 67-yard pass. I did not walk away from that. It's impressive that Georgia got back into the game and had a chance to win it after being down so much. But my biggest takeaway from that was I said, what has Carson Beck done to be awarded this praise and the presumptive? He's still the betting favorite to be the number 1 overall pick in the draft. What am I missing?
Yeah.
What am I missing? He did not look good. He was staring down his receivers all day. Threw 3 picks. He fumbled it once. He tried to throw 2 more. I don't know. I didn't think he played very well. I understand they got back into the game. I don't feel confident that they're going to I'm feeling better about my Ohio State bet. Coming into the season, it was Georgia was the favorite. Ohio State was number 2. I'm less worried about Georgia as I am other teams from the SEC.
Yeah, they have – it's either next – I think it might be in 2 weeks. Texas plays Georgia.
Yep.
So that will be a huge game.
We've got Bama, Tennessee coming up. We've got
LSU Ole Miss next weekend.
Yeah.
That it kind of makes you wonder if there could be a bunch of one-loss SEC teams fighting for what's an open, no more divisions, open SEC championship.
I think
game.
It's very likely and a lot of people were pissed that they played this game as early as they did. I love that they played this game this early. I like to be able to see the 2 teams go up and then also see who takes that step, who grows from it and who gets better. And then you have the chance of them playing again. They might see each other in the SEC championship or even in this playoff.
Yeah.
So better teams playing each other early in the season is not a bad thing at all. It's so weird to me. It's just probably the fans of those teams that don't want the 1 on their record in the loss column that are against it. So, but yeah, Ryan Williams, the wide receiver, the freshman wide receiver for Alabama, had 2 of the most impressive catches that you'll see. The deep ball, the body control to have the ball that was tipped up in the air and stay on it and tip it back to yourself was incredibly impressive. And then he doubled down with the game winner to go up, again, have the body control to stamp his feet down, stay in bounds, and then the slow motion matrix half spin as the 2 guys run into each other. Dude, just the smoothness of it was like incredible. It really was. Him and Jeremiah Smith, because nobody was talking about Jeremiah Smith after obviously what Williams did in this game. Jeremiah Smith had 2 incredible one-handed catches against Michigan State.
Yeah.
Like grown-ass man go up over 2 people one-handed catches. He's fucking really, really good. Do you think is Bama number 1?
I don't know. The poll is out.
Yeah, I think they are. I'm saying, or no, I'm asking. Yeah, I think they legitimately.
I don't know.
Yeah, they are. They're ranked number 1. Are they the best team in the country though?
I have questions about that. I don't think so.
Who is?
Who was before? Was it Texas was before? Yeah, I guess Texas maybe, but
okay.
And
sorry. What do you think the most impressive win of the year is?
I guess the Alabama win is, but the way they let them back in the game's a little bit concerning. I mean, and for the most part of that game, Georgia was making a lot of mistakes, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you get a team that's good, that plays mistake-free football against them, and that has an offense that can take advantage of their defense. I don't know if the defense is good enough to be number 1 right now.
I think Texas is number 1. I think Texas is the best team when Quinn Ewers is healthy. I think Arch Manning is very good. He's certainly going to be one of the best quarterbacks. He shows there's growth to be had for him. Ewers, in my opinion, still gives Texas the best chance to win. The Texas defense is good.
Yeah.
And I think it's funny that people are coming around and like some of the talking heads are coming around and saying how good they are. Because I watched them in the fucking spring game and I was like, they're not bad. I texted you. I was like, the secondary, everybody against Ewers did not look bad at all to me. So I think they're the most complete team, I would say. I think Ohio State hasn't really shown you anything yet because they haven't had to. They won and they covered against Michigan State, but they got the ball inside the 10-yard line, I think, on a couple different turnovers from Michigan State. You would like to see them put a little more points up on the board. I'm just questioning how vanilla are they keeping it because, dude, I'm telling you, the combo of Egbuka and Jeremiah Smith is a problem. If Will Howard can just not turn the ball over, the use of his legs is going to be a difference maker as well. Obviously, the 2 running backs. You could make an argument that Ohio State is the most complete team. I think from what we've seen, Texas going into the Big House, that's a huge win. That's one of the biggest wins of the season. You can make an argument the biggest, I guess, if you wanted. Just the way they dominated. But we haven't had to see it from Ohio State yet. But there's certainly a chance that this Ohio State team's the most complete because the defense is so good.
Yeah, and they play Oregon the same weekend. Texas plays
week.
Georgia.
Next week, I think.
Okay, maybe it is. Maybe they both play next week.
Yeah, Ohio State plays Oregon next week. They play Iowa this week, Oregon next week, and then Georgia plays Auburn this week. No, 2 weeks. They play Mississippi State next week, then they play Texas.
Okay.
On the road, too. So, yeah, that's going to be a fantastic game. So I go 5-4 on the week, brings me to 21-24. We went positive, but it's another week where it doesn't feel like it because of the locks. We're in absolute hell when it comes to the locks. So skull and crossbones on the locks for me. 5-4 on the week. You had 7 plays. You went 4-3, also positive.
Yeah, this was kind of an annoying week to start. We had Washington plus 2.5. They lost 21-18. They were plus 2.7 in yards per play margin in this game. They had a blocked field goal where they got an illegal participation penalty because someone from their sideline entered the field to play. It gave Rutgers an automatic first down, and on the very next play, Rutgers threw a touchdown to end the first half. So it was kind of a game where Washington really was able to move the ball against Rutgers, but they were kind of struggling to score touchdowns. And then the underbite field goal kicker, remember him?
Yes. Yeah.
He missed.
Fitting name.
He missed 3 field goals in this one, so it was an annoying game to watch.
Do you remember his name?
No.
Grady Gross.
Okay.
I know his last name's Gross. I'm pretty sure it's Grady Gross. He was there with him last year when they.
I saw the underbite and I said, "Oh no!"
Fuck yeah.
I said, "I remember the underbite."
Yeah, that's not a winner long term. He might make a couple kicks here and there, but when it matters most, he's gonna come up short.
Yeah, we hit Kansas State -4.5. You talked about it. Oklahoma State, K-State over 55.5. We ended up hitting it, although there was about 10 minutes of no scores there towards the end of the game that kind of had you getting a little worried there. Fresno, UNLV, under 50.5. Fresno State's a better offense with their new quarterback.
UNLV.
Yeah. UNLV's a better quarterback with Malik Williams.
Yeah, nobody was more unhappy to see that than Sluka.
Yeah.
Sluka was like, fuck.
And then UL Wake over 50.5. There was I think the final score was 41-38.
50.5 or 60.5?
60.5.
Oh, okay, you said 50.
Oh.
That's all. Okay.
UCF -14. I tailed your lock.
That was dumb.
Shit.
I said you shouldn't have done it.
And then LSU -22. LSU had 667 yards of total offense in this one.
Yeah.
They probably should have scored more than 42 points.
Well, they got like 150 yards of offense on the first 2 plays, basically.
Yeah. Nussmeier threw the interception there. He threw 2 interceptions, but one of them was near the in the red zone. So
yeah.
It's kind of good that LSU's getting a bye week here before they have to play Ole Miss. I think there's still a lot of corrections to make. Nussmeier kind of has to wake up a little bit and not put the ball in harm's way if we want to have a chance.
Yeah, I agree. So you go 4-3, brings you to 14-16, but 4-2 in your locks of the week. You and Justen are carrying the water in the locks. It's been the trend all year, and it continued this week. Justen, your lock was Nebraska, right?
Yeah, Nebraska was my lock. You touched on that one.
Talk to us about Miami, Virginia Tech.
That one sucked. Miami was up 14-7. It was looking okay. I just felt like there were so many times where Miami would put themselves in a good position, then a turnover would happen. So
yeah, because this was a huge game. This was one we probably should have touched on before we dove into the recap. Virginia Tech should have won this game, in my opinion. We talked about it. I don't know how you overturn that. If I had to bet my life on it, is it a catch? Probably not, but you called it a catch on the field, and there was not inconclusive evidence to overturn it, in my opinion. They went to the ACC Replay Center, and the ACC stands to make a lot more money with an undefeated Miami team than they do with a one-loss Miami and a 3-2 Virginia Tech. But we had our speculation on if this would be the game that we saw Virginia Tech wake up a little bit. I was high on them coming into the year. I like Kyron Drones a lot. I don't think they're using Kyron Drones correctly, but they have weapons on the outside with Lane and a couple other wide receivers, but Bashal Tutin's a very good running back. I don't know that it's really even debatable. I think Cam Ward didn't play very well. I think he looked great in certain spots, but then he put the ball in harm's way quite a few times.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of what we saw at Washington State in his previous years of college football, where he'll show you flashes where he's incredible. And then there's times where he just, same thing, needs to wake up. Like you're saying, Nussmeier, he's got those tendencies too a little bit, in my opinion. So, what were your thoughts on this one? Because this was a huge game.
Yeah, I think Cam Ward did pretty well, because towards the end they had a fight to get back into that game. And then, but there was times during that game, like you said, he nonchalantly runs the ball a lot, but sometimes he nonchalantly kind of floats the ball down there. And it's like, I get you need to put touch on certain passes, but he kind of lacks the sweet spot that you need where you have enough velocity, but
give
enough
us
touch.
Give us a little bit of both. And they're like, ESPN's eating it up, where they're like, he's so like, the guy was wide open on one. And so it's play action, and he's just like, throws it down. But it's like, yeah, he'll do that in a double coverage sometimes. Where it's like, put something behind it. Where I get you want your guy to be calm, cool, and collected under pressure and all of that. But there's sometimes where it's like, it's time to fucking lock in. So I came away from this game with, we thought this may have been a spot. It seemed like we were both kind of like, we leaned Tech, but weren't confident enough to take it with the points. Full disclosure, I told you, Miami fumbled right off the bat, like first play. I live bet Virginia Tech money line. And so I was pissed. I was fucking mad whenever they overturned that game. But yeah, I don't know what to think with Miami, really. I still think the offense is very good, but I felt like Virginia Tech, who had kind of struggled to stop the run and just overall on defense as a whole, I felt like they did a pretty good job against Martinez.
Oh, yeah.
This
was Virginia Tech's best football game so far.
Yeah.
This was a Virginia Tech that a lot of people were expecting from this year.
Yeah.
You know?
9 of 14 on third down, which Miami was very efficient, 10 of 15 as well. But Virginia Tech ran it for over 200 yards. So
yeah, I walk away from this game and Miami's total frauds. They are nowhere. They are not contenders for the national championship whatsoever. Their defense is
not
terrible.
Good. Yeah, so I may not be as much as you. I wouldn't say total frauds. I would still have them as the favorite to win the ACC. I think I understand what Clemson's doing. I would still take Miami, I think, to win the ACC. But, yeah, as far as the national championship, I pray Ohio State.
Yeah, like, what if they have to play Alabama or Georgia?
Yeah.
It's like, dude, I'm making that spread at 17 points.
Those fucking defenses, though, did not look great, though.
But, dude,
and I'll tell you what,
was against frickin' Virginia Tech's offense.
Really, mainly it was against Virginia Tech's defense, too. Yeah. So,
but their defense, what they allowed Virginia Tech to do.
Yeah. You're talking about Miami. Yeah. No, but I'm saying, too, this Virginia Tech defense, they put up 38 points, but this Virginia Tech defense, what they did against Vanderbilt and all of that, against much subpar competition, they have not played well at all. The defense is the weakest link of this team, but I felt like Virginia Tech has talent on the offense. They have weapons. Jalen Lane, that dude Gosnell's good. They've got people that they can go to. But, yeah, I get what you're saying. Those other guys have fucking everybody. But like we said, I would be very interested to see Miami going up against that Alabama secondary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, Ward still had 350 yards, 4 touchdowns. He had the 2 picks, but
I would be just about willing to lay almost any number with Alabama against Miami.
Dude, those defenses, though, worry me.
I think Alabama scores a touchdown every drive against Miami.
Yeah. But, yeah, I don't know. Because it's like, dude, USF had fucking people running open against Alabama. The secondaries are not good. That's the weakest link of Alabama's defense, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, I do think Cam Ward's good, but, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. There's a lot of games to be played, so we're going to see how it's going to shape out. But, yeah, I agree. Their defense is not as advertised as what people wanted. They weren't tackling well. They couldn't stop the run.
Or covering.
Yeah. And it's against a much inferior passing attack than what they would say. So, yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm not saying that their defense is going to come up with timely stops, but you give me 4 Xavier Restrepos, and we're covering numbers, dude. That dude is so fucking good. He fell down on one. He fell down on 4th down. As the ball was coming to him, flat on his back and goes.
They needed that.
I was like, my God.
That was an absolute have to have.
That
was an incredible play.
He's an incredible player. He really is. So what'd you go overall, Justin?
Then we had the Auburn, Oklahoma under. That was looking good. And then there was
the pick 6.
Peyton Thorne, pick 6, and I think there was like 24 points scored in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
That one didn't hit. Then Iowa State -13. I think they beat Houston 20-0.
Yeah.
I also had the under. And then we already touched on Georgia.
And
then I had the over in that one. So that brought me to 4-3.
Mm-hmm.
And then 11-13-1 and 4-1-1 in my locks.
Yeah, y'all are doing very well in locks. And a profitable week all around for everybody. So we look ahead to week 6, college football week 6. It's one of those weeks where it's kind of a dud, in my opinion. there's no such thing, I guess, when you're sports betting, but this is like the precursor to what's going to be a very good run the next couple weeks. You've got Ohio State, Oregon, like we talked about. Then you've got the following week, you've got Georgia and Texas. So we've got some big games coming up, but we'll dive right into it. So Thursday, does anybody have action?
I don't.
Do you, Justin?
No, I do not.
Okay, I will say I don't either. I'm trying to be more selective. And it's come down under 14 here. I was strongly considering taking Troy at home. Were you looking at that one at all?
Yeah.
So reason being, we saw Texas State when they played Arizona State. McLeod's good. I like McLeod. Came from James Madison. He's a very good player. But Troy, they're 1-4. But if you look at who they played, they had to start the season on the road against Memphis, on the road against Iowa. So the bad loss to ULM. But this is a team that wants to run the ball. Texas State, Texas State just lost to Sam Houston. They used to be Sam Houston State. They're not anymore. They just ran for basically 300 yards rushing. So Troy wants to run the ball. And if I'm talking you into this and you pull the trigger, you let me know. Because, like I said, I just felt like stylistically the matchup favored Troy, at least getting 2 touchdowns at home. What are your thoughts?
I was leaning Troy, but I'm just gonna stay away from it. I think both the teams are a little bit better than their record indicates.
Yeah. How did they let Sam Houston run for 300 yards? That's what I'm saying. Like, looking at Troy, what they want to do, the recipe is there. I wrote some stuff down. It was 14.5.
Yeah.
And so now it's come down under 14. We're sitting at 13.5. I'm at that point where I'm trying to be more selective. So, but this was one I was strongly considering. I told you I kind of just dedicate Thursday to the NFL, but this was one that was definitely sticking out to me. So, and you were leaning that way as well. We should certainly fucking take it. But
it came down too much.
What? There's no 14s?
Not really.
Troy's gonna win this goddamn game. Is there no? There's none.
Troy is coming off a bye.
Fuck yeah! It's all 13.5. And the amount of times I've been on the side that the right side of the line movement.
So no, I'm just gonna stay away. I think it's a funky spot.
Okay. What about Friday? You got anything?
No. I was really close to taking action on possibly 2 of these games, but I ended up just staying scared.
Okay. Why are you scared?
I don't know. I'd rather wait. So
I should be.
I'll just come out and say it. I was thinking about taking Syracuse against UNLV. It's kind of a bad matchup for Syracuse, but I do like what I've seen so far this season from Kyle McCord, although his last game wasn't that good against – who'd I bet on him against?
It was
Stanford.
Yes.
He threw 2 interceptions in that game, but
one was a pick 6.
I think it kind of hurts Syracuse here that they don't have a very strong rushing attack. So
yeah. So, and they don't want to run; they want to throw.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm taking the over 58.5. So, yeah, UNLV didn't skip a beat without Sluka. They're probably better off without him, to be quite honest. Like we said, Malik Williams is very good. They had 452 yards of offense. He's a better passer and possibly just as good of a runner. Sluka was one of those gritty, like, I'd put him in the gamer category as some of these players. But Malik Williams, you can do much more on the offensive side of the ball. McCord's off to a great start, like you touched on. He's got 1,459 passing yards, 14 touchdowns. He does have 5 interceptions, but good thing for the over, a couple of those have gone for touchdowns. So UNLV wants to run the ball. Syracuse struggles to stop the run. On the flip side, Syracuse wants to throw the ball. The strength of this UNLV defense is their run defense. So not really anything that Syracuse wants to do there. Q's top 10 third down conversion percentage and 95th red zone defense. So they're allowing teams to get into the red zone and score. They got plenty of weapons, multiple wide receiver options, tight end Aronde Gadsden, and then LaQuint Allen provides – he's a good running back, but he also provides another option to throw to. And then Ricky White for UNLV. He's got to be feeling rejuvenated with a quarterback that can actually get him the ball. So – It's at Allegiant Stadium, so it's not technically turf, but it's that perfectly manicured grass that they wheel in and out. I'm going over 58.5. I think we're going to see points here. What is so you got nothing for Friday?
No.
Justin, do you have anything for Friday?
My lock is Friday.
Interesting. Okay.
Holy shit.
All right, let's go to Saturday. Give me your first one.
I'm going Ole Miss, South Carolina. Ole Miss is 9.5-point favorites. The over-under's 52.5. I'm going to lay 9.5 on the road with Ole Miss.
Really?
Yeah. I think you look at this Ole Miss offense, it's kind of comparable to LSU's offense a little bit, other than Ole Miss can run the ball. They have the 15th ranked rush offense in the nation. LSU did kind of have some success running it against South Carolina. I think Ole Miss can too. Lenore Sellers and Rocket Sanders are banged up. Both are probably going to play, but both are probably not going to be 100%. I like Ole Miss in a bounce back spot here. Ole Miss minus 9.5.
Okay, I'm on this game. I'm on the total though. I'm going under 53.5. Let me get. Is that an 11 o'clock?
2:30.
2:30. Yeah, let me get an updated number. Motherfucker, these numbers move. So the way if I had to lean aside, I couldn't take. I couldn't take South Carolina. I mean, I'll tell you that. But as far as I saw, yeah, like you said, Sellers and Rocket Sanders are both going to play. Both have been battling injuries. Okay, yeah, no, 53.5 is widely available. Yeah, so I'm going under 53.5. It does concern me in terms of taking Ole Miss. Kentucky, I feel like, kind of showed you a blueprint to give them trouble, and they were there's a few teams that have not played anybody worth a shit yet, and at the first sign of conference play, we've seen them struggle a little bit. Ole Miss obviously falls into that category. Kentucky was fortunate to get that fourth down conversion, which was a deep ball, which eventually resulted in the game-winning score. And then there was a fumble, which they were going in to score, but then there was a fumble that was recovered in the end zone.
Yeah, perfectly into that guy's hands.
Yes. So, but on the flip side, Ole Miss, what's his name? Jackson Dart fumbled too, but there was offsides maybe. I just think when you look at the D lines, though, similar, South Carolina can kind of do what Kentucky did. So I think the recipe is there. Like I said, I don't feel confident enough in South Carolina's offense to cover this number, which is why I'm not on the side. But I feel confident taking an under here. Ole Miss's defense grades out very, very well all across the board.
Yeah.
So metrically, again, take it with a grain of salt, who they've played in this and that. But Ole Miss's defense is better than LSU's defense. South Carolina shouldn't have put up the numbers on LSU that they did. There was a block punt in that game, and it was 2 explosive plays. So you take that away. South Carolina did not do a great job scoring the ball. So I'm going to go under 53.5. I think the recipe, if South Carolina is going to have a chance, they're going to have to run the ball and play their style. The D-line could potentially give Dart a little bit of trouble here. It could be a bounce-back spot for Ole Miss in terms of, like, they want to put up a big number on the board and show everybody that they are for real. But I feel confident that Ole Miss's defense is going to be able to do enough to hold South Carolina off the scoreboard. So
yeah, I think
I'll go under 53.5.
I think the a thing that I was looking at here was the look-ahead line for Ole Miss LSU, which is going to be played next weekend. Last week it was Ole Miss was favored by 6.5. They lose to Kentucky, a game they were 17 or whatever point favorites in, and then now they're playing South Carolina and they're only 9.5 point favorites. I still think LSU's far better than South Carolina.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah,
I think LSU could have covered that spread.
They nearly still did, and they were down 17-0. We live bet money lined them when they were down 17. So
I think it's a bit like, okay, Ole Miss didn't play anybody. They played Kentucky, and then they lost. I think it's a bit, you're kind of getting a little bit of an overreaction here with this line. So I think it's a good spot for Ole Miss.
Yeah. I'm by no means, like I said, if I had to pick a side, I would take Ole Miss. But I think Ole Miss's defense is pretty good. So I think South Carolina's going to have a tough time scoring the football. They just got to do a little bit on the defensive side. What's your first one for Saturday, Justin?
My first one is going to be a 2:30 game, I think. 2:30 game going to Georgia and Auburn. Georgia has not played up to par in the last 2 weeks, beating Kentucky by 1 and then losing to Alabama last week. I feel like this week is really going to tell a lot about this Georgia team. Peyton Thorne had a good game last week, but I think this Georgia defense is going to give Peyton Thorne a lot of problems and not be able to get anything going. So I'm going to take Georgia minus 24.
Okay. Alrighty. Are you on Rutgers, Nebraska?
No,
Which side did you lean?
Nebraska.
Did you?
Yeah.
I lean the opposite. Okay.
I think
Might be a sign.
I think just what I saw from the Rutgers defense was that they kind of didn't do that good of a job stopping the run. I don't know when it grew to 7 or wherever it is now. Once it got to 7, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna.
Well, they got 6.5 now, so put your money where your mouth is.
Well, I think I wanted 6, so I'm not gonna mess with it. I mean, Kaliak Manis has got one good play. He's the RPO guy that just slings it in there. But
yeah, I don't know. I lean Rutgers just because, dude, Monongai's fucking good. He's good. I know you're anti-Rutgers because of the game, and they shouldn't have. I understand how that game went, but when you look at this Nebraska offense, they're really not doing that good. I don't know. They put up 400 yards, but
how much did they rush for?
161. But this is a bad Purdue team. This is a bad Purdue team. Going into the fourth quarter, it was 7-3. Fuck. I lean Rutgers. There are still 7s widely available, but we really haven't been on the same side of many this year. The last couple years we had.
I feel like last year y'all won a bunch.
Last 2 years, yeah, we were very profitable when we were on the same side of games. Because like you said, that Washington team, that's not a bad Washington team.
No.
At all. So, and they still did enough to get the win. I understand how it went and all of that, but I think the Rutgers offense has left a lot to be desired. The Nebraska, you can say the same thing about Rutgers, but Nebraska's offense has left a lot to be desired. Over a touchdown with, I won't do it. Fuck.
The key for Rutgers is they're going to have to be able to run the ball for Kaliak Manis to get anything going throwing.
Yeah. Let's see. Illinois had 166 and held Nebraska to 48 rushing yards. So, different team. I'm not saying that Rutgers is as good, but
I decided to stay away because Nebraska's been covering, so you wonder. I don't like to jump on the team that's been covering.
Yeah, you would expect that to. Yeah, I got you.
Or at least they covered last week. The week before they lost to Illinois.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, fucking. What time is it? It's at 3. We'll come back to it. Maybe. Who knows? This could be the same mistake I've been making. What's your next one for Saturday?
I'm going to App State at Marshall. Marshall's 3-point favorites over under 58.5. I think App State's better than they played against South Alabama 2 weeks ago. They didn't play last week because of the hurricane.
Mm-hmm.
Marshall's defense ranks 93rd in yards per play allowed. Their offense ranks 91st in yards per play. They did have to play Ohio State and Virginia Tech, but I certainly think App State can take advantage of the Marshall defense here. So I'm going to take App State +3.
Okay. What's your next one for Saturday, Justin?
It's my last two in the same game.
Okay.
Going to Indiana. Indiana and Northwestern.
Yeah.
Indiana is ranked in the top 25 for the first time since 2021 and first 5-0 start since 1967. Offensively, they're averaging 513 yards per game, which ranks in the top 10, and defensively, giving up 240 yards per game, which also ranks in the top 10. Northwestern comes into this game 2-2 with a 2-point win over Miami of Ohio and 24-point win over Eastern Illinois. But the offense can't seem to get things right as they have 176 yards of penalties on 21 penalties, which ranks 109th in the country. And their starting running back, Cam Porter, is he's going to be questionable for this game. And then their starting center, Jack Bailey, is ruled out as well. This will be Indiana's first conference game on the road this year, so I think they come out a little slow, but eventually get things rolling enough to cover the spread. So I'm going to take Indiana -13.5 and the under at 42.
Okay. Yeah, I looked at this one, but this is one of those kind of like you're saying. I feel late to the boat with Indiana.
Yeah.
They've covered every number, and it's big spread, small total. So I decided to stay away. SMU Louisville, are you on it?
My lock.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Huh. I'm on a total.
I'm on the total.
Fuck. Alrighty, well, here we fucking go, man. I'm on the under 57.5. I'm not going to look at your expression. So this Louisville team, I felt like is a little overhyped. I think the score even kind of is a little misleading against Notre Dame. Notre Dame did a good job defensively. I just don't know. I go back and forth with it. But SMU, I don't put a ton of stock into them dropping 42 on Florida State. I think Florida State's packing it in. Louisville's defense is good, in my opinion, and it's same thing, a misleading total. We were on the wrong side on that one. A lot of fumbles inside the 10-yard line, but I felt like they were able to get into the backfield and kind of cause a lot of dysfunction for that Notre Dame offense, but it is a handicapped Notre Dame offense, I understand. I think SMU's got guys on the D-line. I think Louisville's got the better of the two defenses. I think I'm going under 57.5. It ain't my lock. I don't have locks anymore. I don't know anything. So, but I'll be interested to see which side you're on.
Okay.
Maybe I'll flip. Who knows? You feel confident about it?
Yeah, it's my lock. I've hit 4 in a row.
All right, let's see. Dude, I'm fucking Rutgers, man.
Take them.
What do you mean take them?
I mean, I didn't take Nebraska. I don't.
It's a low total, too, 41.
Yeah.
I'll take them. I'll take Rutgers. Rutgers plus 7. Because I can live with being wrong, but I can't live with not being I can't live with being too scared to take them and then they cover. So I'll take them. Give me Rutgers plus 7. I got a few more. How many more do you have before you lock?
2.
Okay.
But I kind of have a question mark about one of them.
What's one of them?
It's a late game. Miami and Cal.
Yes. Which side did you
I
lean?
want to take Cal plus 10.
Okay, the problem is I wanted to take Cal too, and I would have, but this number's come way down. This number's come down big. It was like 14.5. And I was like, I know this Cal team like the back of my fucking hand. And we understand Miami. So my question is this. Do we maybe pivot and take an over? I wanted to take Cal as well. But the numbers come down substantially. People have been betting Cal like fucking hotcakes.
We missed our chance to get Miami last week.
What do you mean?
We should have took Virginia Tech.
Yeah, I know. So at 10, I don't.
Let me
God damn, money all over the fucking under.
So 13.
What are your thought process?
I don't know. I'm fucking telling you, Miami's defense, they're frauds.
You want to do it?
Which one do you like better?
I don't know.
Let's go over 54.5.
You think?
Yeah, I don't like Cal's defense.
I don't really love Cal's defense either. Obviously, we don't like Miami's defense. The problem here, who does Miami play next week? Is it they play Louisville. I thought it was somebody better. Like I told you, Mendoza, he was able to move them into the red zone multiple times. Another thing to consider, Cal's kicker is a fucking dumbass. Real bad. But yeah, I mean, you would have I don't like Cal's defense either. Is Miami going to Well, the problem, they're going to the West Coast, so it's harder when you go from west to east and you lose the time.
Yeah.
They're getting time. You think over?
But it's going to be fucking midnight Miami time. So do these guys party a lot or what?
Fucking right they do. Are you kidding me? In Miami?
Yeah, so I mean 12:30. Is that what it is? A 3 hour or 2 hour?
Yeah, it's got to be 3.
Yeah, it's 2 hours from here, right?
Yeah, it's got to be 3.
So
that's true. Yeah.
12:30 the game will be ending.
But they're probably over there now.
Yeah.
Maybe not, who knows, but I would imagine they're going But yeah, no, they probably don't come alive until they probably don't wake up until 12:30. If this was like an earlier game, we'd probably be in Miami nights. You probably least want to play Miami when it's 12:30 at night.
Yeah.
So,
Oh man, it's a tough decision.
I just feel like this Miami offense is going to put points up on the board. You know what I mean? So the question is, what is Cal's path to victory? Are they going to lean on the run with Jaden Ott and Thomas and try to slow the game down? Possibly. But Miami can score so fast. And I'm telling you, Xavier Restrepo might be the best wide receiver in the country.
Yeah, I'm going to just go with the Miami Cal over 54.5.
Then I'll take it as well. Yeah, this was one, like we've talked about, the way we do the show, we wait till Monday night is over, so the NFL week is in the books, then we get back in the studio, but we miss out on some numbers that we like, for sure. People have been betting Cal like crazy, and who knows, maybe same thing, maybe an overreaction for what we saw last week, but I like Mendoza. We're just going to root for points. We'll be late night rooting for points, so there's never anything wrong with that unless you lose. Kansas and Arizona State, are you on it?
No.
I'm not officially on it, but I want to be on Arizona State. What are your thoughts? Did you look at it?
A little bit. I mean, we've seen both these teams play, of course. Arizona State, Texas State, we saw that game, and then we saw Kansas play UNLV. We saw them play West Virginia.
We're very familiar with this Kansas team.
Shit. I don't know. I'm not sure how good that Arizona State's defense is.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And then I think Kansas's defense is kind of.
They've been struggling to stop the run, though.
Yeah.
And Scatabo running the football.
Yeah.
But the problem here is you keep just expecting this Kansas team to wake up.
It was this game I was up in the air and about, and West Virginia.
Oh, yeah.
You're on it?
I'm strongly considering it.
Who did they play?
Oklahoma State.
Okay, yeah.
What'd you say?
Game.
I have that one circled with a question mark that if one of y'all took,
Yeah.
I was going to.
So we'll get to that. Let's stick here so I feel like we keep just kind of waiting for Kansas to wake up, and we're expecting this offense to get going with Daniels, and they have the weapons, I understand, with Neal and Grimm. But they're just not.
Yeah.
This TCU team's not that good. They've proven they're not that good. Jaden Daniels, 15 to 34, 179 yards, a touchdown and a pick. That's like rinse and repeat week after week against a very spotty TCU secondary. So at what point are we just going to go, okay, Jaden Daniels is bad? That West Virginia team's not that spectacular. That defense folded under the pressure for, I don't know. I lean Arizona State. I think that these are two teams going completely opposite directions. I'm not saying Arizona State's great, but they're 3-1. Kansas is 1-4. The only game they've won was Lindenwood, and that's the only game that either A, Daniels has looked worth a shit or graded out well.
Yeah.
He's graded out poorly every other game. Illinois, UNLV, on the road at West Virginia, and TCU. So I want to take Arizona State. But again, I'm trying to be more selective.
Yeah. I'm not going to sway it either way.
Yeah. I just feel, like I said, at what point are we just going to go, okay, this is who Jalen Daniels is. He's not good. He's not hitting the guys that are open. I'm going to do it. I'm taking Arizona State. Arizona State -3. I definitely had some shit written down. Yeah. TCU turned the ball over 3 times and still won by double digits. You gave Kansas multiple extra possessions, and he couldn't do anything. So they've been having a tough time stopping the run. So they're 0-5 against the spread. I'm taking Arizona State -3. All right. Okay, let's talk West Virginia, Oklahoma State. Were you considering? You said you were, and then Justin said he was?
Yeah, but I can't make up my mind.
You got to pee? You got that look.
I'm getting there.
What side were you leaning, Justin?
Oklahoma State.
Okay, I was leaning West Virginia.
I was kind of leaning Oklahoma State in a bounce back spot just because of the West Virginia defense.
Yeah.
I think it'll be much easier for them than against their former 2 opponents.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah, I would certainly agree with that. So, yeah, I'll stay away then. It's probably the right side, to be honest. Oklahoma State is probably the right side. I've just seen Bowman look so bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
He's going against Utah 2 weeks ago, then
but
Kansas State.
But that motherfucking Utah defense looked like shit last week.
Yeah, and Kansas State really hasn't been – I expected the Oklahoma State offense to do a little bit more in that game.
Yeah. So, too much unknown. I'll stay away.
Yeah.
I'll try to – that's one where I like Garrett Green. He's one of those, like, he's going to fucking suck for a lot, but then he'll give you the game-winning drive here and there against subpar competition. Plays good teams, he'll get blown out by 40. But something about, I don't know, short guy, mobile, takes some hits, throws bad balls. I don't know why. That's who I fucking go towards for some reason. Let me see if I got anything else. Texas A&M and Mizzou. You on it? I got two more. I told you I don't have a lock. No locks.
No, I'm not on it.
Okay. I'm going to go under here. So, under 48.5. Texas A&M's favored in this one. And it seems a little fishy to me, but the lights stay on in Vegas. They're right more than they're wrong. Is Mizzou actually as good as their ranking, or is Mizzou going to fall into that category of power conference teams that haven't played anybody worth a damn? And then once they hit conference play, we see some reduction in their production. They've beat Murray State, Buffalo. Boston College was a one-score game, and then they beat Vanderbilt in double overtime. You could argue that they've kept it pretty vanilla. Luther Burden hasn't been really super involved, at least as much as we expected coming into the year. A&M just beat Arkansas in a game that they were outgained by nearly 100 yards on the receiving end of 3 turnovers. I still don't think you can trust this A&M offense. I understand they're favored in the game. I think they're favored because of the defense. Whether they're saying Wegman could potentially come back or they're going to stick with the other guy, I don't really care either way. The only way A&M is going to have a chance in this game is if they can establish the run. So I think we're going to see them try to do that. Mike Elko probably – he's not typically a guy that is going to give you a high-flying offense. So run the ball, play good defense. We're going to find out if Missouri's worth being a top 10 team. But I think there's multiple ways that we get to an under here, so I'll go under 48.5. And then my last one, Washington taking on Michigan. I'm going to do it. Trappy spot, fishy line, I don't know. I'm going to lay it with Washington. I've seen it too many times. This Michigan team is so extremely one-dimensional. Alex Orji is a horrific quarterback when he has to throw the football. Washington, like we've touched on multiple times throughout this episode, had a very misleading box score against Rutgers, outgained them by 220 yards. Like Nick talked about the blocked field goal that got called back because of a fucking dipshit celebrating on the field, results in a touchdown the very next play. This Michigan team can be thrown on if you have time. You got to hold up in the trenches, but there's issues in that secondary. I think you just give Will Rogers and this Washington offense time, and they may be able to exploit something here. Washington grades out above average in pass protection, and they're in the top 30 rushing defense in the country. So make Michigan beat you through the air. Easier said than done, I understand. USC tried to make Michigan beat them through the air. The game-winning drive, they didn't throw the ball once. So it could be a little iffy of a spot, but they got to go out west. It's a one-dimensional offense. It's a Michigan team that looked very, very down. If USC won that game, we'd be having a much different conversation about Michigan. I'm going to lay the 2.5 points with Washington. And I believe that's all I have. So,
I have the last game of the night.
Okay, which is what?
Texas Tech, Arizona.
Okay.
I'm going to take Arizona minus 6 points.
Okay.
Texas Tech, 4-1. They barely won their first game against Abilene Christian in overtime. They won by 1 point, 52-51. And then the next week, they went on the road to play Washington State. They lost by 21 points. They won 3 straight. All those games were at home. Now they're traveling to Arizona to play. I just have questions about the caliber of teams that Texas Tech has played so far. They're giving up some points, but they really haven't played many high-powered offenses. I know that Arizona's kind of struggling a little bit offensively in their past 3 games, but the Texas Tech defense ranks 97th in the nation in yards per play allowed. I think it's a tough game for Texas Tech after playing 3 at home, going on the road to Arizona. So I'm going to lay 6 points with Arizona.
Okay. And all we have left are our locks, correct? Yep. Okay. All righty. That is our best bets for college football. We now move on to our locks of the week. Again, I'm not giving you a lock ever again until I die.
Should I tail it?
I don't have it.
Oh, you're
I'm not doing locks. I don't have one.
I was ready to tail it today.
I don't have one.
Oh, shit. You should just.
No, I got nothing. I got
take
nothing
my
for
lock.
you. I might. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to bet the over and the under. Alrighty, our best bets of the week for college football. There is no such thing as a lock, but if there were.
It's a lock, Kramer. You've had this thing under control for almost 3 years now. But it's a lock.
They need that fucking juice. They need that next bet. They need, come on. Yes! When they win, they go fucking crazy.
You're a bad motherfucker. Go in that shower, grab your fucking nuts, and tell the world somebody's sniffing my fucking nutsack today. Because I ain't got time to fuck around no more.
All right, it's the SMU-Louisville game. We talked about it. The over-under's 57.5. That's what we're aiming at. Louisville's offenses look good, 17th in the nation in yards per play, but the only good defense they've played so far was Notre Dame. They didn't look bad against Notre Dame, but they didn't look great. Tyler Shuck, he's played above my expectations. I'm still not totally sold on him just from what we've seen in years past. SMU is stuffing 22% of opponents' runs and only allowing 2.5 line yards per rush. SMU has the 40th ranked third down defense, allowing just over a 35% conversion rate. I think Louisville maybe struggles a little bit here offensively. I think the SMU run defense might put Louisville's passing offense into some bad third down positions, and I think the same thing said for Louisville's defense going against SMU's offense. Kevin Jennings, I'm really not a big fan of him. His adjusted accuracy ranks 53rd. It's okay of a quarterbacks that have thrown minimum of 40 passes, and his average depth of target ranks 115th. Louisville's rush defense is also really good, so it's kind of a tale of both sides of the ball here for both offenses. I think are going to struggle here on third down. So we're going under 57.5 for the lock of the week.
Good.
Yeah, and you mentioned it. The SMU TCU game, there was a shitload of bad luck here for the under that I was on. There was 100 points scored. It's kind of like crazy. Not really too worried about that. And then you mentioned last week Louisville Notre Dame, a little bit more points than probably should have been scored in that game. So I think it's kind of a good spot here to take the under.
Yeah, I really do think this Louisville defense is pretty good.
Yeah.
I think that SMU, I mean, like I said, that Florida State game, Florida State has packed it in. So, yeah, I think the under's the side here.
Yeah, SMU, Louisville's defense stuffing 26% of opponents' runs. If they were stuffing 60%, that'd be nuts. Only allowing 2.4 line yards per rush, and Louisville has the 4th-ranked third down defense in the country. So I'm really not a big fan of Kevin Jennings whatsoever. I think for sure SMU struggles to score the ball here. I would probably lean Louisville against the spread, but
yeah, I do too. But yeah, I'm just gonna go under. But yeah, that's the side. If it were under a touchdown, I think we'd be talking.
I think SMU's only chance here to keep this game close is to get a big game out of their defense. So
yeah, I agree. Justen, what is your lock of the week?
All right, going back to Friday, going to the Houston and TCU game. Houston may be one of the worst offensive teams in the country, ranking 124th in yards per game and 134th in points per game, which I think is last or second to last. They've scored 6 touchdowns all year, and wide receiver Joseph Manjack, who has 2 of the 6, is looking to miss his 2nd straight game with a shoulder injury. In the last 2 games, they have gotten outscored 54-0, and then on the other side, TCU is lighting it up offensively behind Josh Hoover, who's having a great year so far, as they're averaging 365 yards per game in the air. But the defense has struggled to get some stops. But if you're going to get your defense back on track, Houston is who you want to play. So I'm going to take TCU minus 16.5.
Okay. Okay, there you go. That is our best bets of the week for the NFL. Again, Nick and Justin have been carrying the way. Nick's 4-2. Justin, you're 4-1-1. And I don't give locks. So that's crazy. I said that. There's skull and crossbones on there, and y'all are like, I'm tailing it. It doesn't exist.
Thought you still were going to shoot at it.
It doesn't exist. No, it's over with. It's over for me. All righty. That is our best bets for college football. We move on to the NFL. We'll do a quick recap. We're running a little.
I'm going to
go ahead. We're running a little long. I'll go through it real quick. Thursday night, we had the Giants +6. Brandon Aubrey, arguably the best kicker in the NFL, doesn't miss from 50+ ever. He missed in this one, and it was exactly what the doctor ordered. What were you on Thursday? You were on the under. That hit
under,
yeah, that hit by a mile. So we got a double winner side and total on Thursday night. Fast forward to my Sunday. We started out with 3 games in the early stretch, and we started out with 3 losers in the early stretch. Immediately bad, just terrible holes that we started in. Steelers -1.5 was the lock of the week. They went down 17-0. They come back into this game. They lose by 3. They had the ball with the drive to go win and cover. Couldn't do it. It was a very vanilla offense from Arthur Smith, which I don't understand how Arthur Smith still keeps getting jobs in the NFL. They kind of took the reins off Justin Fields a little bit, and they started moving the ball. The second half, they put points up on the board. It was too little, too late. Honestly, to be quite honest with you, the worst thing that happened to us in this was that Anthony Richardson got hurt. Joe Flacco came in and did what he does best, 16-26, 168 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Steelers scored no touchdowns in the first half, 1 field goal. They scored 21 points in the second half. It just took too long to get going. They couldn't get the run going. The Colts defense played better than I thought they would. Not that I came into this game expecting for the Steelers to put points up on the board to win. I felt like it would have been a better showing from the defense, but it wasn't. There was a lot of miscues, a lot of mistakes. Fields retreating out of field goal range, fumbles and gives it back to the Colts. George Pickens, I don't know what the fuck George Pickens is doing, just carrying the ball like a loaf of bread. It fumbles in the red zone. It was a really funky game, so I felt like we were right side, wrong result in this one. I would take the Steelers again if they played again.
Well, Flacco came in and he did good.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, the worst thing that happened to me in this game was Anthony Richardson got hurt. So, and they were moving the ball with Richardson, I understand, but like me and Nick were talking about it, the first throw he threw downfield was into like triple coverage and nearly, I don't know how it didn't get tipped. But then he started running it a little bit, but like we talked about, he's got little fucking baby hips. You run him, he's going to get hurt. So he ran it 3 times, 24 yards. Hurt his little hip. It's over with for him, dude. It's over with.
He'll be back.
It's over with.
He's coming back.
Who do I have? I got Hendon Hooker. Dude, I bet you the odds for them to make the Pro Bowl are the same.
Hendon Hooker's barely a backup.
No, he is a backup.
Barely.
No, he's a backup.
He had to beat out the some guy named what is his name? Sudfield.
Nate Sudfeld's a fucking good backup in this league. So if you're beating out Nate Sudfeld to be the backup, you're the best backup in the NFL. Then Packers -2.5. Steelers got in a 17-point hole. Packers got in a 28-point hole. And I would tell you again, just like the Steelers game, if the Packers and the Vikings played again in this exact same scenario, I'm taking the Packers. It was just Jordan Love played poorly. Sam Darnold put the ball in harm's way a couple times in the beginning that we couldn't capitalize on. But it was clear there was rust that Jordan Love needed to knock off. I felt like the Packers started pushing the ball downfield and doing what they needed to do. They couldn't run the ball. The Vikings defense is good. They stopped the run. They did what they were supposed to do. But the Packers got all the way back into this game and had a chance to win it and cover. So it was a really bad start. You can't get into a 28-point hole and expect to win. But I don't know. That one was bothering me. Jets -7.5. It was a weather game. Doesn't really matter. Weather game, the Jets defense should have did what they needed to do against Bo Nix, who had, I think, -7 passing yards in the fucking first half. They lose outright, 10-9. The Jets offense is aggravating the shit out of me. They couldn't do anything. Salah's blaming it on the cadence. Rodgers is blaming it on not holding the players accountable. There's trouble going on in New York, I'll tell you that. Nathaniel Hackett is a fucking idiot. He is not good. Rodgers doesn't want to listen to anything he has to say. Breece Hall couldn't get anything going. You got to tip your cap to the Broncos defense. Bo Nix was 12 of 25, 60 yards, and he threw his first fucking touchdown. 60 yards. It was a wide open tight end, a throw that I could have made. He almost overthrew him. So this was frustrating. The Jets need to play better. Saleh needs to coach better. I was very frustrated, to say the least, again. Then we rattled off 2 wins in a row. Skins and the Commanders and the Cardinals over 50. Jaden Daniels is fucking really good. We had over 50 points. The Commanders scored 42. Jaden Daniels was 26 of 30, 233 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. This Commanders offense is about as efficient as it gets. The Arizona Cardinals did not do what I expected them to do on the offensive side of the ball. Not that I necessarily thought that they were going to go crazy, but I thought they would do a little bit more than 14. But nonetheless, we'll get the over there. Lions minus 3.5. The Seahawks got back into it, made it a game. They put points up on the board. The problem was the Lions just put more on the board. 42 points from Detroit. I felt like this Seattle team was a little overhyped. I would say they played better than I thought. Seattle played better than I thought they would. Detroit, but on the flip side of that, Detroit played better than I thought I would.
Yeah.
Than I thought they would. Seattle had over 500 yards of offense. So, but Detroit's got to clean up some penalties. I don't know. They got to Geno in some timely spots. Regardless, I felt like Jared Goff would play better. He played great. 18 of 18, 292 yards and 2 touchdowns. So they've just got too many weapons to not score. Amon-Ra St. Brown, you've got Williams, you've got the dude, that David Montgomery play where he just fucking ate Witherspoon's lunch. Came in like he didn't even know he was right there. Witherspoon hit a fucking brick wall. And then Montgomery, it was just an incredibly impressive play for him to break that tackle and then do what he did. But Jahmyr Gibbs looked good, 14 carries, 78 yards, 2 touchdowns. They like I said, too many weapons. A really good offensive line, and they were down Ragnow, I think. They were down one of their starters. Jared Goff caught a touchdown too. It was a fucking good day for Jared Goff. So we go 3-3. Don't hit the lock. But like I said, I would bet the Steelers again in that spot. It was an unfortunate break there. 3-3 brings me to 12-12, 2-2 in my locks of the week. So we're 500 across the board. You had your usual 3 plays. You swept the board. Giants +6 on Thursday. I touched on 49ers -10 was your lock. It got a little dicey there down the end, but it shouldn't have.
Yeah, I guess. It kind of went how I thought it was going to go.
Not dicey, but they were in the red zone with a chance to push.
Yeah. But yeah, they harassed Brissett.
Yeah, what's his name? Bosa got the strip sack
Yeah.
to seal it. But yeah, they were down there. But there was a case of I think the 49ers knew that they were going to kill them, and they kind of took their foot off the gas. So they were up. They had it was 20-3 at halftime. And then the Ravens -2.5. Ravens dominate the Bills, 35-10 on Sunday night.
Boom shakalaka.
Relax. I am sitting on a Bills Super Bowl ticket. I still don't feel bad about it. So this was a tough spot. We talked about it right before we were watching. It's a tough spot for the Bills. It was a prime spot to bet the Ravens. I was kind of kicking myself for not taking it. But so you go 3-0, brings you to 7-5, 3-1 in your locks of the week. Justin, you went 4-3, I believe.
3-2.
3-2. Okay.
Yeah, I had the Cowboys and Giants under, and then Bengals was my lock of the week. It got a little close, but I ended up winning by 10. And then we had the Vikings +2.5. Already touched on that. And then Jets -7. I was on that with you. They lose outright. And then Ravens and Bills over 46. I think it was a point short on that one.
That was terrible.
We were well aware of that as we were watching, and yeah, that was a tough break. That one.
Was there like 3-point score in the fourth quarter? I don't think.
No, there was 7, but yeah, I mean the Buffalo Bills only scored 10.
Yeah.
So if you go into that game and you say the total's 46 and the Ravens are going to score 35, I'd bet my fucking house on the over. So that was an unfortunate break.
Yeah, that brings me to 9-5-1, and then 3-1 in my locks of the week.
Yep, y'all are doing very good in the NFL, especially in the lock category. We move on to week 5. Started off with Thursday night, the Buccaneers and the Falcons, an NFC South divisional matchup. The Falcons are 1.5-point favorites on the home field. The total sits at 43.5. Who feels good?
Not me.
I don't feel great about it.
I could go either way.
Yeah, so do you got to lean on the total?
No.
No? So we don't fucking know. Again, anybody new listening to the show, we always bet the Thursday game whether we like it or not. And this is one of those weeks where we don't really like it. And we know the NFC South. I'm wearing a fucking Saints hat. We're Saints fans. We know these teams. This is a tough one to bet because the Falcons have not looked good. The Falcons were the divisional betting favorite coming in. They haven't looked great. The Buccaneers have looked good and bad in certain spots. They've looked more good than bad, 3-1. I lean Atlanta, and I lean the over.
What about you, Justin?
I have the over and I have the Bucks.
I still feel like there's I still feel like that secondary for Tampa's spotty. That secondary is susceptible. I do think the Falcons have weapons. I do think Kirk Cousins is going to continue to get a little more acclimated as the weeks go. He has not played well. I think our defense is better than Tampa's.
Oh, for sure.
Without question. It was a tough day for Kirk Cousins against us, 21 to 35, 238 yards and a pick. Bijan Robinson is questionable with a hamstring. He's on your fantasy team. Can you give us an update?
I don't know.
On the status?
I was asking who had Algier earlier, so.
Well, what do you mean? Is he going to go or not?
Well, Algier didn't look bad against us.
No, Algier's good.
Yeah.
There's a reason Arthur Smith was running him. One, he's a fucking idiot. But two, Algier's not that bad. So what I have written down, I would imagine, I think the Falcons can have success running the football on this Buccaneers defense. I think if they have holes in the secondary, but the way they grade out as a worse team against the run. Bijan's battling the hamstring injury. It's worrisome because it's a short week, but this is a divisional matchup. You're 2-2. You're playing a 3-1 Tampa Bay team.
Yeah.
This is a big game.
Yeah, this is huge for the division. Even for us, it's huge.
And so, like you said, you could go either way. I lean the Falcons. The Falcons are also at home. So, if you look at statistically, so I got to get down to the bottom of my notes. Statistically, this Tampa defense is grading out with the likes of the Cowboys and the Jets by Pro Football Focus standards.
Okay, Falcons are a slam dunk.
I do think that there's talent in the secondary for Atlanta. Obviously, they got Simmons, but they still have the corner that got fucking burnt by Jamar in the national championship, Terrell. They've got guys on the D line a little bit here and there. I lean Atlanta. I'm taking the Falcons. -1.5. Which way are y'all going?
Falcons.
You are? What about you, Justin?
I'm gonna go the over and the Bucks.
You're going double. You love doing the side and total. You play a dangerous game. All right, let's see. Okay, so we are on opposite sides there. Nick and I are both on the Falcons. We move on to Sunday. Who feels good? Who wants to go first? You doing your usual 3?
Yeah, I feel good.
Fucking scared with your 3. Go ahead. What's your first one?
London. I'm going Jets. I'm taking the Jets +2.5 against the undefeated Vikings.
Okay, so this is
spot.
It is the spot of all fucking spots. I want to take the Vikings but it's a spot. It makes me fucking mad because the Jets suck, and I know it's a spot. The Jets can't stop the fucking run.
Yeah, it's hard to bet on a team that you bet on last week that played epically poor.
Yeah, the weather, but you would imagine, like this is getting to like do or die territory for the Jets.
Yeah.
If you want to do anything this year, which they had a lot of high hopes and expectations and this and that.
And their division, I mean,
Yeah.
with Miami, no Tua, obviously the Patriots, the Bills are 3-1. But the Bills have their questions of their own that need to be answered as they start to play better teams.
Can we get a 3 or is it just 2.5?
I think it's just 2.5, but
it's worth looking. Let's see.
I'm on this one as well.
Oh,
you're on the Vikings?
No, the Jets.
Oh.
they do have a 3 at Fanatics.
Last week?
Do what?
What was the book from last week?
Fliff?
Yeah.
We'll take 2.5. Yeah, I'll take the Jets. No, it is. That's what makes me so mad is because this is the spot for the Jets. This is the spot. They have too much talent. They're going to cut the grass real long.
Yeah, it's plus
there.
2.5 even money, though. Oh,
What?
dude, we should be able to get 2.75.
So let me just fill you in on this. Over there across the pond, they like to cut the grass short or keep it long?
I think soccer, it's not too long. They want that ball to roll around.
No, you just completely. It's long. It's long.
Oh, okay.
You don't know anything about soccer, okay? They like to keep the grass long over there. Who loves to play on long grass?
Brees Hall.
Brees Hall fucking loves long grass. Iowa State had this problem for years where they would forget to cut the grass before game day. They wanted it long. They wanted it slow. Brees Hall is going to be so familiar with this grass. Brees Hall might go for 200 rushing yards. And as a fantasy owner of Brees Hall, I hope he does. The Jets, plus 2.5. Brees Hall is going to fucking feel right at home with this grass. You know who's not? Aaron Jones. What's your next one for Sunday? Oh, it's just your lock.
Yeah, I guess. I think I used to do 4.
You never did 4. But
Yeah, with the
maybe years and years ago.
no, with the London game, I would always do 4.
right. Yeah, okay.
Because I was the king of London.
Okay, so what are you considering for your 4?
I don't know. I just remembered that.
Okay, okay. I have one that I have to play just out of principle. Just out of principle. And it's the Jaguars. I got to take it. I got to take the Jaguars minus 2.5 at home against the Colts. You have to. It's the spot for them. This is a do or die. They pack it in. You go to 0-5. It's over. I mean, it's over. Don't get me wrong. But this is like if you give a single shit about your coach, you go win this game. Anthony Richardson with those brittle hips, he's done for. Now Joe Flacco's over the hill. Okay, I understand he came in and he can move the chains for you and this and that. And the Steelers, this the Jaguars we're talking about.
Yeah.
Jaguars are going to win this game. They stink. They shouldn't, but they are. Minus 2.5.
Yeah, I'm just going to stick with 3. We're the Monday night game, which we'll give out on Sunday. Normally a game that I would bet, but we'll just wait till Sunday in the recap. Saints Chiefs.
Yeah.
We'll just wait.
Okay. I had it written down.
Oh, you want to give it out?
I'm on that game, yeah.
Well, yeah, but we're talking like for we've been doing the one play for our instant reaction. Yeah, the problem is there ain't no 2 games, but yeah, no, I kind of want to get out of that. Okay, so yeah, I'm taking the Jaguars minus 2.5. Let's talk about Sunday night.
It's my lock.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm going to take the under 42.5 in the Steelers and Cowboys. Arthur Smith is a fucking pig, basically. Arthur Smith is an idiot. I don't know how he keeps getting coaching jobs. He's pulling the wool over people's eyes. I think, in all seriousness, we've just we know these guys. They're like, well, he was a head coach before, so we'll hire him. Arthur Smith shouldn't have a job coaching in the NFL. It's an outdated, prehistoric offense where he handcuffs his players, essentially. He has this thing where he doesn't like to give it to his good players. I don't know. They could do they could study his brain for CTE. And then the Cowboys can't stop the run. I understand what they did against the Giants. I think that the Steelers will have a little bit more success running the ball. But can you protect Dak? He's going to here we go to the fucking ground because the Pittsburgh Steelers have the best pass rush in the NFL. It was a bad spot for the Steelers in terms of what we've seen. I still feel like they should have covered that game. It was really unfortunate circumstances with the fumbles and this and that. But back home, Sunday night, this is a Steelers-style game for me. So I'm going to go under 42.5. The Cowboys just...
You're not on side?
What?
You're not on the side?
No. That's what I'm saying. Just under.
Okay.
Under 42.5. I feel like as a Cowboys fan, you would have liked to see a better showing against the Giants in a divisional matchup against a fucking not good Giants team. So, yeah, under 42.5. I have... So I do have a Monday night one. But do you want me to wait?
It doesn't matter to me.
I don't know. I kind of want to give it out.
I mean, you think you're going to get better? You think the value's going to dip? That's the only reason it would be to give it out.
Yeah, but I could be wrong.
It could be going in your favor.
It could. What do you think?
I have no idea what you're on, so I don't know.
Which way do you think the line will go? You think it'll grow?
I don't know. Probably not.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Just give it out.
All right.
You're taking what I'm taking.
I'm taking the Saints +5. I don't see how, after Rashee Rice goes down and what we've seen with this Kansas City offense and all the injuries and this and that, regular season Patrick Mahomes is a top 5 worst quarterback in the league. Hot take, fact check it, look it up. This guy stinks. And Patrick Mahomes stinks so bad that not only is he overthrowing for horrible interceptions, he's fucking taking out his best player and shattering his knee to smithereens. So the Saints defense is good. Both sides are banged up with injuries, but the skill position players for Kansas City is really, really coming down to it. I don't know where you go. You've got Pacheco out. You've got Rashee Rice out forever now. Hollywood Brown's out until the postseason at best. I don't know how you take Kansas City and feel good about it in this one. So the Saints should very well be 4-0. The defense is good. The offense has got to do better. I was strongly considering an under in this one, if I'm being completely honest. But I think the defense will be up for the occasion. The skill position players for Kansas City are just decimated right now. So the Saints were doing a good job of moving the ball. We just couldn't execute when it mattered most. And then just the miscues, the untimely, not common miscues. I think you're gonna see a more buttoned up, locked in Saints team here. So getting 5 points, I'll take the Saints. Is that the side you're on?
Yeah.
Anything else that you got to
I mean,
add?
we'll talk about it later.
on
Maybe we'll
Sunday
give
night?
out a prop
Yeah, let's do that. I'm down for that.
and a prop.
What do you mean and a prop?
I want to give out the spread too.
You might as well talk about it now, and we'll talk about it again. But we'll have the prop.
I don't know.
What are your thoughts?
I think this is like a spot. This is another spot. The Chiefs are undefeated. The Saints could be undefeated, but they're not.
And the Chiefs
So there was
are
a lot of
undefeated.
hype after 2 games on the Saints. I think this is a game the Saints could win, and all of a sudden, people are put on notice again. Because the Saints are not bad. They could very well, like you said, be 4-0.
This is a situation where the Saints are 2-2 and probably should be 4-0, and the Chiefs are 4-0 and probably should be 3-1, maybe 2-2.
Yeah.
So,
They probably should have lost to Atlanta.
definitely should have lost to Cincinnati.
Baltimore, the toe was on the line to go to overtime.
Yes. Yeah, they're flirting.
They didn't look good last week either.
Yeah, 17-10 against the Chargers, a banged-up Chargers where Justin Herbert's limping for his life. Yeah, they haven't really looked spectacular. That's what I'm saying. Regular season Patrick Mahomes, you think I'm crazy? Stinks. Patrick Mahomes, he's got 5 interceptions already. 6 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He killed Rashee Rice. He Marcus Williams Rashee Rice's knee and fucking screwed my fantasy team.
How many yards did Huntley end up rushing for?
Oh, God, I don't fucking know. 20? Well, we were looking at like over 30. Over 30.
I think I was going to go under 32. He rushed for 40.
Did he? Oh, wait, that's right. We were talking about the
But at first, it was looking like he wasn't. He must have busted one later on.
No, he did. Yeah, it was like, I was like, why are they not running him more?
Yeah.
He ran a long one. It was like at least around 20 yards, something like that. And then I think he ran in the touchdown. All right, Justin, you're on this as well?
Yes.
You taking the Saints or you going a different direction?
No, I'm on the Saints.
Okay. How many more do you have before your lock?
Yeah, I'm all done.
And you have your lock?
Yeah, I have my lock.
Or did you give it out?
Nope.
Okay.
Answer that weird.
Yeah, I think all I have left is my lock as well. What are some that you were considering that you didn't jump on?
Shit, I have to go look now.
Bills and Texans. Bills 1-point favorites on the road.
Oh shit, I would probably take the Bills there.
Yeah, I agree. I lean that way. Okay, let's Ravens and Bengals.
That was a tough one for me.
That's so fucking tough. I couldn't feel comfortable doing it. Believe it or not, I would possibly consider an over there. It's a high number. I would imagine it's probably the highest number of the week. 50.5.
Yeah.
I would consider over. Browns and Commanders. Almost took the Browns.
I'm telling you, there's going to be this. This will be the greatest thing ever if they can keep up what they're doing.
The Commanders?
Yeah.
No, I think the spot calls for the Browns for sure. The Browns did have to go to Vegas. Now they got to go to the East Coast. I understand, but back-to-back road games. But this spot calls for the Browns.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the Commanders to stumble and kind of at least the defense we know is really
wearing an LSU hat. You're praying on Jaden Daniels' downfall because you fucking hitched your wagon to Drake May.
Because the defense isn't good. I mean, I really thought the Cardinals would be able to make more of a game of it.
Yeah. Okay. So all we have left of our locks. Who feels the best about their locks? Anybody?
I mean, I feel good. I'm on Sunday night side.
You're on Sunday night side? Oh, interesting. Okay. You let it off last time?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to do it again?
Sure.
All right. Our best bets of the week in the NFL.
It's a lock, Kramer. You've had this thing under control for almost 3 years now. But it's a lock.
They need that fucking juice. They need that next bet. They need. Come on. Yes! When they win, they go fucking crazy.
You're a bad motherfucker. Go in that shower, grab your fucking nuts, and tell the world.
I'm on Steelers -2.5 at home, playing the Cowboys. You mentioned it. Steelers defense, the pass rush. I've been talking about it all year with the Cowboys offensive line. I've been expecting Dak to struggle a little bit. He's played better than I've expected so far. But I think this is a game where he kind of struggles a little bit. And on the other side, the Cowboys, DeMarcus Lawrence, out. Micah Parsons, pretty sure he's out. Almost certain he's out.
Yeah.
That's a big relief for Justin Fields here. So they're going with Fields again. I think the Steelers kind of established a run a little bit, and I think Fields kind of runs it a little bit himself here. So I like the Steelers. I think the Steelers defense has a big game.
Okay. For my lock of the week, I'm going to the Green Bay Packers -3.5. It's not going to be a popular pick. I still believe in this Packers team. I firmly believe in the Packers offense. Matt LaFleur was in the conversation for Coach of the Year. They drop a game against the Vikings, and now Jordan Love didn't look great in certain spots, but he looked good in others. I still think this Packers offense, even without Christian Watson, is dynamic. I don't think the Rams are going to be able to keep up. Just decimated by injuries. Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, both on IR. You've got a Rams defense that is not good at all, specifically in pass coverage. Like I said, I'd probably take the Packers again if they played the Vikings in the same situation from last week. I just think that this is a get-right spot for the Packers, in my opinion. The Rams, we saw them just go last week and play the Bears and lose. People are scared of McVay and Stafford. I don't think that they have enough on the offensive side of the ball to be able to keep up with this Packers team. So I'm laying 3.5 with the Packers as my lock of the week. Justin, what is your lock?
I'm going to the Raiders and Broncos. I'm going to take the Raiders +3 as my lock of the week. I do not see the Broncos getting 3 in a row. And I think this Raiders defense is going to give Bo Nix some trouble. Taking the Raiders.
Okay.
Man, that's a nice play.
I kind of lean the other way, to be honest.
Broncos?
Yeah. But I can't. I don't know. The Broncos do stink. Bo Nix fucking sucks. But the Raiders, what's going on with Devontae Adams?
He's done.
They won a second round for him.
They're dumb. I don't know if they can get that. They're dumb.
Yeah, he's too old now.
Yeah, he's over 30.
They might be able to get it from the Jets because maybe Rodgers says, I fucking want him.
Yeah, what about the Saints? Does Carr want him?
Shit. Oh. Now you're talking my language. We don't do shit. Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe here and there. We'll spend some stupid-ass picks on some idiots, though. So It's like Just make
Although
that. Like,
Peyton Turner did get that. He forced that fumble, huh?
Yeah, he sucks. Yeah, this is one of those like two shit teams. I was looking at it for a little while.
But it's kind of like the Broncos have won 2 in a row. The Raiders have lost 2 in a row.
No, they just beat the Browns.
Okay.
But they lost to the Panthers when we were all over that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
It's kind of a fade the Broncos spot in my opinion.
Yeah, I just feel like with that Raiders team, it's like turmoil. Devontae Adams is your best player.
Yeah, Brock Bowers is good.
Yeah, I mean, he is. But, yeah, no, I mean, I couldn't get behind the Broncos endorsement.
But the other guys they have, I've never even heard of these fellows.
Yeah, I don't know. We never recapped college, actually. So let's do a double recap. That is our best bets in the NFL. So we'll recap college real quick. Where the fuck did I start? In no particular order. I'm taking Arizona State -3, Ole Miss, South Carolina under 53.5, Rutgers +7, SMU Louisville under 57.5, Syracuse UNLV over 58.5. I'm taking Washington -2.5, Texas A&M Missouri under 48.5, the Miami Cal over 54.5. And I do not have a lock. Do I just go straight to the NFL or keep it college and college?
Go to the NFL.
My NFL bets. Thursday night, we're going Falcons -1.5. London, we're going Jets +2.5. Jaguars -2.5. Packers -3.5 is my lock of the week. The Steelers and Cowboys under 42.5. And Monday Night Football, the New Orleans Saints +5.
All right, we're going to bookend it with locks, bookmark it with locks or whatever you call it. SMU Louisville under 57.5. That's a college lock of the week. Ole Miss -9.5. App State +3. Miami, California over 54.5. Arizona -6. On Thursday night in the NFL, we're taking the Falcons -1.5. Going to London, we're taking the Jets +2.5. And on Sunday night, the NFL lock of the week is the Steelers -2.5.
Okay, Justin.
All right, in college, got Indiana and Northwestern under 42, and then Indiana -13.5, and Georgia -24, and then my lock of the week is going to be TCU -16.5. And for the NFL, Thursday night, going Bucks +1.5 and the over 43.5. Saints +5 on Monday night, and then the Jets +2.5, and then my lock of the week is going to be Raiders +3.
Alrighty, there you go. That is our best bets for college football and the NFL. I said I was going to try to be more selective, and then I added a couple more than I originally intended going in, but we'll see how it goes. Like I said, it's not going bad. It's just not going as well as I would like for myself currently, but with the locks, it just feels like it's going fucking horrifically. Y'all are carrying the water, like I said, in the locks of the week. You combine college football and NFL, you're sitting at 7-3. Justin, what is your combined locks record?
7-2-1.
7-2-1 in year 7-3. It's
Yeah,
very good. Y'all are both doing fantastic in the locks. Oh, well. Get them next year from me. That is our best bets. Episode 198 is in the books. Like I said on the NFL Instant Reaction, we are rapidly approaching 200 episodes on this podcast, so that'll be a big one 2 weeks away. There's money to be made, so we might as well make it. Y'all have a good one. Who dat?
The house always wins. Play long enough, you never change the stakes. The house takes you. Unless, when that perfect hand comes along, you bet big, and then you take the house. Been practicing this good. A little bit. Did I rush it? Felt like I rushed.
That was good. I liked it.